Hi everyone, welcome back. Welcome back to Create Every Day in April. Today is the 24th. And before we start, I just want to say mistakes have been made. All right, so I have already recorded two almost 20-minute videos and had to. One I was recording, didn't know I was recording. So that's a definitely operator error. And then on the second one, we're going to work on something else. We're going to take a manila folder. I've already folded these pages. I did some work on the inside, and we'll discuss that in a minute. So we really didn't miss anything. So I was like, how did I use 17 minutes? But we folded the pages. I decided to make two signature journal versus more. So we're going to work on this. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do for the spine. And I was like, maybe I could use scrapbook paper. No. We're going to use these manila folders from the Dollar Tree. And we're just going to get out the real creasing thing, Brandy. Let's just work on that first. All right, so I'm going to put this to the side really quick. This is a manila folder. I got it from the Dollar Tree. And if you ever had a manila folder in your hand, you know it has these creases, right? And I assume that they've made these for junk journal people. No, I'm joking. So you can just edit them. You can do other things with them, and it already has these creases, so I don't have to worry about spine size, anything like that, because we already have what we need. Can you believe that? Like, thank you, crafty people. All right, so what we're gonna do though, and this is where mistakes have been made because I already recorded a video. I haven't cut this. I've never done this before. First time. I did work on a manila folder before, but I cut the thing up. So I'm just going to crease this really well as best as possible. Same thing here, creasing this, because this is our spine, right? And we need for our spine, I'm just going to go ahead and crease that other little crease on the inside. The W, yeah, and this is how, I guess that's how file folders work. When I use file folders, we use the hangy folders. We never really use these. So, I don't know what you would put in there besides craft stuff, right? I mean, what other reason could it be to have this? So now, I'm joking. So now we have this, and you know, this measures 5.5. and this is 8.5. So what I want to do is I want to cut out a 6-inch and a 8 and a 9-inch. So I want the folder to fit in there, the signatures to fit in there. So let's get the ruler out, and we'll measure this just to make sure I'm not crazy. So this sheet of paper is 5.5, and the reason why I wanted to measure out 6 is because these things poke out when you put a whole bunch of stuff in there, and that's why you shouldn't have a whole bunch of signatures. I will try at some point in my crafty life to just take all the pages and glue them down into a spine, but that's when I'm really comfortable at making junk journals, I suppose. So right here you can see it's feathering out because I put those cards in here, and this card is creating some bulk. And it's causing it to push out, because remember yesterday we had that issue with the folding thing. So if you notice, it doesn't do that as much now. And also, you know, I could have folded it incorrectly, and that's okay. I guess we will try and put some lace on these pages at some point. But for now, we're going to go ahead and cut our spine. Cut and cover it. So we're going to measure out 6 inches, right? With the pencil, of course. And then we're going to go ahead and measure out, I don't know if I want to do 8. I don't know if I want to do 9. I think maybe 8 7/8 would be good. Almost 9, right? So almost 9. One quarter off of 9, and hopefully I measured this properly, and there we go. All right, so now here's the part that you can do on your own. You could butcher your paper however you like. I'm just going to take a ruler and cut the paper, and hopefully we do it right and come back to you. You will be proud of me. I cut everything one time except for one of these tops or the bottom. It was crooked and I had to adjust it, and I did, and this is the adjustment that I made. So yay, we did it. Yes, we did it. All right, so let's see, make sure you put it on the right side, Brandy. All right, so here we go. And here we go. Now, I am not concerned about this crease that I made in here at all. Let me tell you why. You could always just push it out. And if you really, really, really are pressed by that crease, which I'm not, because I'm just not, we could reinforce the spine if we wanted to with another piece of manila paper. But we're not going to do that because we're going to take our scrapbooking paper and cover up this whole thing anyway. But the spine was prefabricated and we don't have to worry about anything. And I like this little extra cover piece. So, and the bad thing is this is too big to actually laminate. So we don't worry about that. So we're going to go ahead and I want to use this paper to cover the spine up. You know, no. We're going to do something different. We're going to do something different, a little bit different. All right, so here come the shenanigans, right? I'm using this wrapping paper. This is Anna Griffin wrapping paper that I picked up from Tuesday morning, and it fits perfectly, in my opinion, because it's roses, and they have the colors that we've been working with, and I think it's going to be great. Now, I am not good at mitering the corners on these types of things and such stuff like that, but you know what? I'm okay. I'll be all right. Like, it's not a deal breaker for me. So we're just going to go ahead and smooth this down. And you know, this doesn't have grid lines in the inside, so I can't really tell you how much. I just eyeballed it and cut the thing out. I like to use wrapping paper on a lot of my projects when I can, especially like pretty wrapping paper and things like this. And this just lends itself to what we're doing so well. Smooth this out the way. All right, so what I'm going to do, I really don't want to screw this portion up. So what we're going to do is we're going to, you know, just like when you were in school and you had book covers, the first couple of days of school was always great, right? For me, it was always trying to find a desk, especially if they had right-handed or left-handed desks. Ugh. I watched a video about only left-handed people will know the struggle of this. And I was like, that's so true. That's so true. Like the desk, I always have to sit on the edge. Like if we go out to eat, I don't want to sit in the middle. I like to sit on the corner because I need my hand to eat. And I don't want to, you right-handed people are so, you want to take everything. You want to take the armrest in the movie theater. You know, like you want to bump arms. You know, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. But I like to sit on the edge for those reasons. Alrighty. So we're creasing these creases down. I'm just joking about right-handed people want to take everything. But think about it. If you've ever had dinner or been out with a lefty, in the future, if you have a spouse or child that's a left-handed person, look at how they eat when they eat and things like that. So now we have our creases, and we're going to cut this down some. And we're going to make it a nicer, neater, cleaner cut than what we have it. We're going to come in here and cut this down some even more. So let's just see. Can I get away with doing it this way? And the answer is absolutely not, Brandy. Absolutely not. You should have knew that because the paper was too long, right? Like if I had a larger work surface and I had a larger cutting apparatus, I probably could. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and just snip this down. And I'm not too concerned about how it looks. I just want it to be semi-even. Because why not, right? So I'm coming right here and I'm going to make that little notch. And I made it on both sides. I'm going to make it on both sides, I should say. And the notch doesn't have to be perfect. Again, where it's just paper, you could just, if you screw this up, you could do something really pretty with the paper that you've already cut up. So that's not a big deal. I am going to use glue on here. And I'm going to use Aleene's glue. In the future, I would probably say you don't want to waste as much wrapping paper. I got this from Tuesday morning, like I said, and it was on sale. Because I wouldn't pay $7 for wrapping paper to chop up like I'm chopping it up. I think if you have a crafty mindset, you always are thinking, what can I do with that thing? What can I do with that? I don't know. I think that most crafters probably think like that. Like, what can I do with this? What am I going to do with this? Versus, oh, that's a nice, I don't know, fill in the blank or whatever it is. And you're like, oh yeah, it's nice, all right. Wait till I get it home. And you get it home and you've done something totally different than how it's supposed to, what the design of it was supposed to be. Again, if you're worried about that spine, you can still reinforce the spine on the inside. You don't have to worry about the outside. We will be covering up the inside, so that's why I'm not too concerned about that. And I've done this project before, a project covering up with some wrapping paper before. So here is our situation. Just want to make sure it folds over properly. Now I'm going to take this and cut it across. Just like that. I'm going to do it to all of the corners. If you choose to use tape on here, I can't say that I would blame you. Because, you know, if you don't smudge the glue really well, and I'm not doing the best job at smudging the glue. And what I mean by smudging the glue is, like, you probably should take your finger and run it so it's really, really smooth. You're going to get bubbles. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. Not glue bubbles, but glue tracks, glue line. And so that's why I didn't want to use the art glitter glue. I feel like the art glitter glue dries so fast for me on projects that I need it to be a little bit, have a longer drying time, that I would prefer not to mess around with the art glitter glue on these kinds of projects. So, I'm not sure if you can see it very well, but you can see like right here in some of the spots, like right here is where I put the glue. So I just want to smudge it as best as, you know, rub it in and get a little bit better coverage, even though I feel like it's covered good. We did a good job at covering it. You can still see the glue lines, and that's okay because I'm going to do something to the front. Not a whole bunch. Like, I don't want to detract from how pretty it is, but we're going to put some words or something on there. A girl riding a bike or something. The Eiffel Tower. No, I'm joking about the Eiffel Tower. But, you know, we're going to do something to it. And now what I recommend is just doing a little bit at a time. And we are going to put some on this spine just because I want the spine to be a little bit less smooth, less shaky, less flaky flake. Now if you want to, you can do a little bit at a time, like put it down and fold it over, put it down and fold it over, or you could just go full ham hog like I'm doing. And I'm choosing to do it full on just because I don't feel like rolling it back, rolling it back, rolling it back, rolling it back. I want to just go ahead and get this part glued on. I'm trying to squeeze it a little bit to give it more, put more out, and we're gonna go ahead and do this just like that. And here we go. Finger, or whatever you have, I just chose to use my thumb. And now I'm just going to smudge this out just like that. Push it out, whatever term you want to use. If you have a roller, you can roll the glue out. If you have, you know, your thumb or a knife, whatever you use to flatten your paper surfaces. I'm just going to rub that in just like that. Now I do want this to dry before I start messing with it, especially for my spine. But we're going to go ahead and finish our cover. Like if you did a book cover in your life, then you know you don't have to worry about it too much. So I'm just taking my thumb and creasing it down. Now if you want to use your tape for this part, you can. I do feel like glue lasts longer than adhesive over time, so that's totally up to you. And when I finish the project, I'm going to probably keep it standing like this so that the spine dries at that with that crease in it, just because I prefer to do that. Now you can change over to your quick drying glue if you have art glitter glue, but I'm still going to use Aleene's and get that up just like that. And again, I'm going to burnish it down. And so even though I cut these corners off, I didn't do a very, very good job at that one. And so all I'm going to do is come right into this crease, fold it up, and snip it off. Because what I've done in the past is I've got real scissor happy and cut it all up, and then guess what? It was off still. It was still off. So I don't want to do that. So now I'm just taking this and I'm pushing it just like that, and I'm just going to go around all the edges and do that, and you can see I'm just pushing it, pulling this up as best as possible, and then I'm just going to glue it all down. So I'll glue it down and come back. All right, so this is how it looks so far. I'm happy with the outcome thusly. Now with the inside, I don't think I'm going to cover it up, this spine, with a sheet of paper. And I'm going to cover it up with a sheet of paper, but not decorative paper. All right, so we're going to cut 2 sheets of paper down. They're going to be roughly 6 inches. So right down the middle of this 12 by 12 sheet of paper. I want to make sure I get it right on the line, because you know, sometimes you are off just a scotch and it can make the paper look really funky. All right, and so now we're going to cut off 3 1/4 inches off the paper. And we should be good to go. Let me just verify. All right, so I should have cut off 3 1/2, but I cut off 3 1/4. So it was too long the first time, and that's okay. So right here, I wanted to, is it too wide too? Oh no, it's too wide. No, I think that's fine. I may go back in and snip it down just a little bit. But you see right here, what I want to have is just a small border of that black going around, just a little bit. And I think I am going to cut off 1/8 of an inch, because I don't want it to be on the spine, but I am going to just take a sheet of paper, a plain old regular sheet of loose paper, like for example this paper right here. I'm just going to glue that down on here, and the reason why I'm just going to glue that down on there is not for reinforcement of the spine, but to cover up the spine in itself. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to turn this way, and I'm going to cut down the inch. All right, so I'm going to glue this down first. Just a strip of scrap paper, basically. I just want to cover up the spine. So in a sense, it is going to be semi-reinforced, but not truly reinforced. So I'm just going to rub my finger down, making sure the glue is adhering pretty decently. I'm just cutting the bottom off. I cut the bottom a little short, but that's okay. Don't tell anybody. And with A-leans, you know, you could, if you haven't smudged it down like I did, you could try to lift it up and readjust. Now, do I really recommend you doing that? No, not really, because you see we pulled some of that paper up, but that's okay. That's okay. It's just going to be a little bit more sturdy than normal once the glue dries. And again, the spine is going to be covered up by our signatures, so it's not too bad of a you know, us doing it. Not too bad. I don't want to be too heavy-handed with the glue either, so just, you know, just keep that in mind when you're applying your glue down. You don't want to be too heavy-handed, because it is water-based glue. This is paper. It will smudge and bow and wrinkle and curl up and all of that good stuff. And we don't really want it to do all of that. Although I won't be upset if it does, because it's kind of vintagey, kinda. All right, and as you can see, it's starting to give us a little bit of a problem to fold, which is exactly what I wanted it to do. So that is not a deal breaker, okay? No deal breaks, no heartbreaks. And we are okay with this. Even that is fine. So we're going to glue all of this down. Just like that. And there we have it. Now, I think I will go back and reinforce this with the A-leans just a little bit, so we don't get no bowing, no curling, no curving. But I am going to leave this in a folded position. And tomorrow, I will come back and manipulate it even more, because I want it to be bent. If you've ever made a book, then you'll notice sometimes the spine is like, I'm not bending, I'm not curling, I'm not doing anything. Just open me and look at my beauty. And you're like, no, I want to do other stuff with you. Even when you've bought a hardback book, especially hardback books, sometimes they're like, I refuse. And so here we go. We're just going to manipulate that a little bit right now. And I'm going to glue it down again. We're going to just do this a few times repetitively. All right, so if you decide to use tape on this, you most certainly can use tape on here. I think we will try some tape. The thing about this taping situation is that if you put it down and it's wrong, it's not going to forgive you. And so I think when I'm working on projects like this, I have moved on from it's just paper to this is a project that I want to keep and work on, and I can't have this tape trying to show who's boss, right? I cannot have that. So I have tried that whole technique of folding the tape over and doing it like that, and that works. But I just prefer to glue, just because for my own preference of not messing things up. And you don't have to put a lot of tape down. You just need it to be around the edges, or if you want to put some tape in the middle, however you tape your stuff down, go for it. Once we finish this, we'll be finished for the day, because my head is throbbing. I have no idea why I have a headache. Well, I fell asleep with the light on, I think. Yeah, I think the light was on. And sometimes the light just gives me issues. I'm hydrated, So I don't know what's going on. I would recommend putting both of these on at the same time, but for unknown reasons, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do one, and then we'll come back and we'll have everything complete. So this is how it should look. Make sure you're not putting it on that crease. We don't want to put it on that fold-in crease because that would be an issue. You see how it's bowing over? I'm just going to smooth it out and then work on it. All right, as we get ready to wrap this video up, I went back and I, just so you know, I did this to the paper as well. I'm not concerned about the spine like it seems that I am, but I do want my spine to be able to fold. Like I want the book to open and close. So that's why I have decided to, you know, just let you all know I've manipulated it some, and this is okay too. I'm not worried about that looking like that. Then I've taken the tape and I've pulled off just a little bit and folded it over so I can put it down how I want it to look. And then once I get it in place, all right, so I think this is where I want it to be. Let's see. Yep, that looks good to me. Go ahead and just pull these strips off, right? All the strips come off. It's probably a proper way to pull the strips, like in different order than I just did, and we're good to go. The bad part is it's upside down now, which is not good because I wanted this to be the front of the book and this to be the back. But now this is now the front and this is the back, which is fine. No big deal. Make sure you, if you have any directional paper, you pay attention to where your script and or font is, and I wasn't paying attention. So anyway, let me go ahead and put this down. All right, so this is our cover. I'm really happy with it, even though this is, it doesn't matter. We're going to do a little bit of covering that up anyway. So it's all good. And we'll work on the rest tomorrow. Tomorrow, I think we should be finishing this. If not, it'll be Monday. And then, here we go. This is how it's going to look. And so this spine, the signature will be like right here. And this one will be right here. But we have a few more other things I want to work on. So, I hope that you've enjoyed this process. I want to say thank you all for watching. I really had a great time. Until tomorrow, happy crafting.